Mabuhay! Good afternoon, everyone. We are the reporter for Chapter 6, and we're going to discuss the designing and managing service. Next. The manifestation of innovative activity through the innovation process creates the condition for the sectoral economic development and tourism services quality improvement. So we all know na sobrang competitive market ang meron sa tourism and hospitality industry. Kaya it is very important na meron tayong active innovation. Kumbaga, patuloy yung pag-create natin ng mga ideas, products and services para ma-improve natin or para magkaroon ng improve sa tourism industry. And because of that, makakapagbigay tayo ng mga quality na products and services para sa mga tao na makakapag-satisfied sa kanila. So, to form an innovative mechanism and to implement innovative ideas, it is necessary to develop local tourism system. So, mahalaga daw na makapag-develop tayo ng local tourism system. So, sino ba yung mga local tourism system? Yun yung mga communities, yung mga government units, yung mga attractions and services na kailangan mag-work together para makapag-resort tayo or makapag-create tayo ng mga tourist resources and products to stimulate their growth and competitiveness. Next. So in this chapter, students are expected to learn the concept of service design. Further, service design principles, innovation, and setting shall be discussed in details as applied in the tourism and hospitality. So for our learning objectives, at the end of this chapter, the student should be able to first understand the concept of service design, comprehend the challenges of service innovation and design, be familiar with the different service design principles. Learn the differences among the types of service setting. Explain the necessity for service process design. And lastly is understand how service process design can improve service quality and productivity. So to make innovation happens, there must be an innovation mechanism, which includes system, strategies, and tools to support the creation and application of new ideas. So the concept of service design is a term often related to the physical structure or model of certain products that is aimed to provide more value, better efficiency, or enhanced performance of the goods. No? So the term design is not limited to how a product looks. It also refers to how something is created to work better and provide more value. When we talk about design, ang unang pumapasok sa isip natin is yung physical form, which is yung style, yung layout, yung structure, or yung shape ng isang product. But this kind of design helps improve the product's usefulness, efficiency, and overall design. But in business, design, pag sinabi nating design, it is more broader meaning. Hindi lang siya about sa physical form, but also sa kanyang um, as an element. So meron siyang elements like business operation, design can be a form of service, an output or product, part of a process, an activity, culture of the organization, or simply a management function. So pag sinabi nating service, ito yung mga travel itineraries, yung mga customer experiences, or yung mga digital interfaces. Next is yung output or product. So ito yung mga brochure, website, or yung mga gadget, or yung mga furniture. Part of process, ito for example, ito yung designing a workflow. So, nag-design tayo ng workflow sa isang business para mag-run smoothly, para mas maging maayos yung business. An activity, teams exchanging or engaging in brainstorming, planning, or problem solving. So culture, ito naman yung mga when an organization encourages creativity and innovation in everyday work. And lastly, for a management function or simply a management function where leaders use design thinking to make better decisions and improve the system. So that is all for my report. Next part will be discussed by Miss Abraham.
Thank you, Miss Liso. So in my part, pag-uusapan po natin ang service innovation and design, the uniqueness of the tourism and hospitality industry as a service-oriented industry has made the delivery description and communication of its product difficult, more so that the product is intangible and often co-created with the customer make it complex, very dynamic, and challenging. So sa service innovation, alam naman po natin ang turismo at ang hospitality industry ay unique and medyo challenging siya sa pag-deliver at pag-describe and pag-communicate ng mga produkto. Isa pa ang isa ang produkto sa mga intangible na hindi mo kayang mahawakan o makita sa personal. And then kadalasan po co-created pa ng mga customer ang serbisyo, kaya't mas lalo pang nagiging dynamic at komplikado. So, kadalasan ang mga serbisyo na ikino-communicate lang gamit ang mga salita kaya kaya minsan mahirap i-describe ng maayos. For example, sa isang cruise trip, baka masabi lang nila na trip to Bahamas by boat, pero wala namang detalye tungkol sa mga amenities or experience o kaya naman sa isang suite room. Puwede nating sabihin na merong bedroom with sala, a bathroom, hindi siya sapat para ipakita ang buong service. So, minsan kahit sa pagkain din, para sa dalawang VIP guests, maaaring hindi mailarawan ng maayos kaya nagiging incomplete ang information na naibibigay. And then, may mga kumpanya rin po na may magandang track record dahil gumagamit sila ng mga cutting-edge strategies na akma sa kanilang brand. Nag-a-apply din po sila ng mga balance approach sa mga produkto at serbisyo. Ibig sabihin, hindi lang sila nabibigyan ng pansin ang mga product design, kundi pati na rin ang mga delivery process. And then, kung balance ang dalawa, productivity at magiging competitive pa sila sa market. So, sa iba naman pong companies, top-down approach ang ginagamit kung saan kung saan management ang nagtatakda ng direksyon at ng mga objectives. Pero mas importante pa rin po na ang buong team ay magtulungan at mag-sync in sa mga goal na dapat gawin. So bago mag-implement ng innovation, tandaan po natin na magandang mapagtuunan muna ng pansin ang mga culture of organization. Kung malakas ang teamwork at tiwala sa isa't isa, so mas madali po magiging successful ang pag-develop ng isang new service. So, next slide po. So, sa service design principles, so may 5 principle ng design na sinusundan ang mga professionals para masiguro na ang service design ay nakatutok sa quality customers experience. So, meron po tayong 5. So, una, meron tayong holistic. Holistic ay isang design ay hindi lang po siya naka-focus para sa customer, kundi pati na rin sa environment. Importante na ang buong surrounding or environment ay nakatutulong sa pag-deliver ng mahusay na serbisyo at kailangan itong planuhin ng mabuti. Pangalawa po natin is co-creative. So co-creative, hindi lang po siya environment ang dapat isaalang-alang, pati na rin ang mga stakeholders. So, dapat makita po natin kung paano sila makakatulong sa pag-communicate ng design at kung sa papaano nila mapapalakas ang potential ng serbisyo. Pangatlo naman po is user-centered. Sa user-centered, ang design ay para sa customer. So, kailangan ito ay nakafocus kung paano gustong ma-deliver ng customer ang product o serbisyo. So, ang design po na ito ay naka-base sa mga pangangailangan at expectation ng customers. Pang-apat naman po is sequencing. Laging may sequence or order ng action na kailangang sundin para mag-deliver ng product or service. So, dapat tama po ang pagkakasunod-sunod nito para sa best customer experience at sa mas mataas na level ng satisfaction. Last, pang-5 po, evidencing. Dahil sa intangible ang serbisyo, kailangan mag-create ng visual expectation sa mga customer. So, dapat po may mga impact ang serbisyo para hindi malimutan ng customer ang brand or establishment. Ang principles na ito ay gabay sa maganda para sa mga customers experience. Pero tandaan po natin na ang innovation ay laging available at pwede ring magbago ang principles na sa hinaharap. Next slide, please. Sa type of service innovation, ngayon po ay may iba't ibang uri ng service innovation na nagbabago ang paraan sa pag-provide ng serbisyo. So, narito po yung mga sumusunod. Sa first po, meron tayong service provision innovation. Sa service provision innovation, may major innovations, mga bagong serbisyo na hindi available sa market. So, new service for segments, mga bagong serbisyo na ina-adapt para sa mga customers na dati ay gumagamit ng traditional na serbisyo gaya ng ride-sharing or online banking. So, service extension naman po, pagdadagdag ng mga bagong options sa customers like new destinations for cruise ship, new menu items. Sa service improvement naman po, pagbabago sa features ng serbisyo like mas magandang customer support at bagong feature ng app. And then, change in style, mga pagbabago sa visual style, logo o website design. So, pangalawa po, meron tayong service innovation around customer. So, dito naman po, binabago ang role ng customer. Halimbawa, dati pumupunta pa ang mga tao sa fast food para mag-take out. Pero ngayon po, pansinin natin, meron ng mga nagpapadeliver or delivery services na nagsusupply ng pagkain sa bahay. Number 3, innovation through solution. Hindi lang basta produkto ang ino-offer, kundi mga solution po. Halimbawa na rito, yung mga consulting, managed services, at paggawa ng travel packages. So, pang-apat, meron tayong service innovation through interconnectivity. So, dito, um, mas advancement na ang technology. Ang mga appliances ngayon is may sensors na pwedeng mag-communicate. Ito rin po ay nagiging base para sa new tech development na nagpo-provide ng comfort at convenience sa customers. So si service innovation through interconnectivity rin po ay ang interconnectivity ay nagbibigay ng remote access sa mga equipment improving performance, safety, and new capabilities. So that's all for my part. The next reporter is Miss Bacoltong.
Thank you, Ms. Abrahan. And for my topic po, blueprinting services. It is an illustration on how services are rendered. It shows how a service design is implemented. It is a plan that displays interaction between departments or elements and activities as part of one entity. Blueprinting services is a visual way to map out how a service is delivered. Yung main goal po nito, na-break down yung services into individual components. So, para makita mo kung anong nangyayari kada stage. Like for example, sinong gumagawa or how the customer experiences the service. And gumagamit din ito ng real customer experience as a kung paano nagwo-work yung service. And meron ditong 5 steps on how to blueprinting services. A. Prepare a diagrammatic format of all the elements and processes of the service design. It layouts all the elements and processes of the service design. You can use geometric shape, other symbol to represent different parts of the flow. B. Recognize possible decision points and conflict zones, or areas where there could be possible issues and concern that may arise. This involves mapping out the moments in a process where choices have to be made and spotting areas with disagreement or problems are likely to happen. This helps you to prepare a plan to reduce risks that would affect the project flows. Letter C, set standards in terms of allowable adjustments acceptable from the perspectives of both the customer and the organization. This defines the limit at what changes an organization can allow, balancing what the customer will accept. Establishing adjustment standards ensures that any changes stay within agreed boundaries and keep both parties satisfied. Letter D, any photos, slides, or videos of the process can be very useful as pieces of evidence that represent contact points, encounters, or interaction. Visual documentation serves as tangible proof how the process unfolds. This helps in reviewing the actual workflow and spotting inefficiencies that may not be obvious with written reports alone. Letter E, analyze the impact of the pieces of evidence, contact points, and interactions as regards to the effect to efficiency and profitability of the organization. This evaluates how the recorded evidence influenced the organization's efficiency to run to run things smoothly and their financial performance. This guides the improvement on operation, cut costs, or boost the revenue based on real data. Next slide, please. Next is selected methods and tools for service processes. Some of the other methods and tools used to analyze service processes are the following. First is the affinity diagram. Affinity diagram is an analytical tool used to gather and organize information from a bunch of mixed data. It helps sort and bundle info into groups based on their relationships. Using, using, using this can lead to deeper insights and new ideas. Second is brainstorming. Brainstorming is all about generating ideas from a group of people to solve a design problem. With a facilitator leading the way, group members contribute ideas freely to cover as many areas as possible in search of the best design. Number three is character profile. Character profiles helps the designers understand and appreciate services user by providing trends about them. Number four, contextual interview. Contextual interview is an interview that takes place where the service actually happened. It highly gives accurate, detailed information because it observes the user's field behavior. Number five, user journey map. It is a visual diagram that tells the story of a user's experience through a service. It shows parts of the service that work well and need adjustment or improvement. This map helps to understand the customer. Number six, cultural probes. Cultural probes is a method of gathering information about people's daily lives and activities in communities. Number seven, documentaries. It is a tool used in the initial stage of the design process. This method is a visual representation of a human emotion and its expression captured through film. Documentaries provide designer with real-life visual insight into users' feelings and reactions, helping them to gather inspiration and information for their new project or new design. Number eight, empathy probes. Empathy probes is a design tool that focuses on what users are thinking and feeling. It gives users an opportunity to express what's on their mind. This helps designers observe user before concentrating on a specific design and better understanding of users' needs. And the next reporter would be Miss Anyuda. Thank you.
So the next part is the number 9, which is the ethnographic user research. So ito yung research na sumusunod o nag-o-observe sa user sa natural environment nila. Kumbaga yung goal kasi nito is para malaman kung ano ang makapag-motivate sa mga user and sa mga or ano yung makakapag-hinder sa kanila. And usually ginagawa naman ito sa starting point or yung simula ng project para sa pagkakaroon ng tamang, design decision. So, example naman nito is, for example, nag-o-observe yung isang designer kung paano, mag-o-order yung mga customer sa isang cafe. Para lang din malaman kung, saan nahihirapan yung mga customers, gano'n. And then next naman is sa number 10, yung experience prototype. So, ito yung simulation ng service para ma-test kung gumagana ba yung idea and para itong para siyang trial version ng service para makita kung okay ba sa mga user at ano pa yung mas mai-improve dun sa service na yon. Ang example naman nito is, for example, yung isang isang hotel is gumawa sila ng isang fake, check-in para ma-test kung nagpa-process ba yung inimplement ng hotel. Next naman is yung focus group. So, yung focus group naman is isa siyang group discussion na may mga piling participant para magbigay ng mga opinions tungkol sa isang topic o design idea. May mga moderator naman dito na nagtatanong or nagli-lead sa usapan. Kumbaga, isang grupo talaga siya tas may nagli-lead. Tas may pag-uusapan lang gano'n.
And then yung example naman nun is, for example, ang isang mall is nag-implement siya or nagkaroon ng group discussion yung mga employees para malaman kung effective ba yung for example sa isang Jollibee, yung mga employees is nagkaroon ng group discussions and yung magle-lead nun isang management. Ang pag-uusapan is kung effective ba yung pagkakaroon ng kiosk. Then next naman is immersion or workshop. Tinatawag ding role play or empathetic research. Kumbaga yung researcher mismo yung nag-i-experience ng environment para mas maintindihan yung emotion or behavior ng isang user. Number 13 naman, which is the observation. So, simple lang, observation, pinapanood kung paano ginagamit ng user yung isang product or yung isang service. Dito naman malalaman agad kung may mali ba o nakaka-stress sa isang experience or services. Example, nag-observe ang isang designer kung saan nalilito yung customer sa paggamit ng ATM. Ganon, simpleng pagpanood lang or pag-observe yun, observation. Then number 14 naman is personas. So yung personas it is a fictional characters na based sa real data ng actual users. Ginagamit ito para malaman yung mga needs or yung goals and behavior ng iba't ibang types of users. Number 15. So sa 15, which is the prototyping. Prototyping, pagbuo ng early version ng design para i-test muna bago i-finalize. Pwedeng simple o medyo detailed basta masubukan ng users ang service. So kanina may sinabi akong experience prototype. Yung experience prototype tsaka prototype, ang pinagkaiba naman nito is yung experience prototype kasi is trial version pa lang siya. Tapos yung prototyping, early version, kumbaga mas early sa finalize, parang semi-final version ganon. And then yung example naman nito is na prototyping is, for example, gumawa ng mock-up ng online booking page para makita kung mas madaling maintindihan ng user. Mock-up online booking pa lang bago yung mismong system nun. And then, may A to F na klase ng prototyping. So, una is the sketches and diagram. So, yung sketches and diagram naman, ito yung mga drawing or doodles na nagpapakita ng idea. Hindi siya kailangan na perfect, basta mas may paliwanag yung concept. Yung may paliwanag naman ng maayos yung concept, hindi naman kailangan perfect. So, example naman nito is, simple lang, magsi-sketch lang ng simple floor plan para sa isang restaurant, para may pakita lang yung flow, gano'n. And then next naman nun is storyboarding. So, sa storyboarding naman is ito yung series of drawing na parang comic strips para may pakita yung sequence ng service experience. So, kung nagbabasa kayo ng comic, so parang magkakasunod-sunod lang ng story, wala siyang masyadong words, like ano lang, drawing lang gano'n, simple sentence lang ng story gano'n. Example, puwedeng storyboard lang ng journey ng isang customer na pumasok sa isang salon, paano siya nagbayad do'n, paano siya nakauwi or storyboard lang din ng estudyanteng pumasok sa school, nagkaroon ng quiz gano'n, ta's pagkatapos uwian na gano'n. And then next naman is building blocks prototype. So, sa building blocks prototypes naman, ang gamit naman nito is toy blocks like Lego, para gumawa ng simple models para madaling baguhin or mai-adjust. Example lang niyan, parang example lang paggamit ng building blocks. Kung architect students ka, like pinagawa kayo ng furniture or bahay, pwedeng gamitin yung Lego or mga blocks. Sunod is the role play. So, role play, bagay yun yung pag-a-act out ng mga service situation para mas ipakita kung realistic or smooth o may conflict ba sa process. Kumbaga, pwede ding maging klase yun para mas malaman kung ano nga yung mali sa isang services or product. Kailangang mai-role play or mai-act out. And then next naman is the physical model. So, gumagawa ng Ito naman is gumagawa na ng actual mock-up gamit ang paper, cardboard, or clay wood para mas tangible yung testing, para mas maipakita kung mas applicable or mas maganda ba yung mabubuong models. And then, F naman, last is the user-driven prototype. So, instead na yung designer ang gagawa, yung user mismo ang papagawin ng prototype para mas maipakita kung paano sila mag-isip. Hindi pa ito yung final design, pero kumbaga, ito lang yung type na mas makakapagpaintindi sa perspective ng mga magiging users. And that's all. The next reporter would be Gubalan.
Okay, thank you, Miss Anuda. And now I will discuss the last four scenarios: service prototype, shadowing, and stakeholder map. So first, scenario are hypothetical stories na nagpapakita kung paano gagamit ng service ang user. Tinutulungan itong i-visualize ang possible situations at needs ng users. So next is service prototype. Service prototype is a test or sample version ng service. Dito ino-observe kung paano na-interact ang user at kung may problems bago i-launch ang actual service. Next is shadowing. Shadowing is kapag inobserve na ng researcher ang user sa real-life situations without interfering. Nakikita dito ang totoong behavior, experiences, at issues ng users. Lastly is stakeholder map. Stakeholder map is a visual chart na nagpapakita ng lahat ng importanteng tao sa organization. Like for example, yung mga staffs, customers, investors, and etc. At kung gaano kalaki ang influence nila. So next slide po. Next is service settings. The service settings is the physical environment where a service is delivered. It helps customer form impressions about the quality of the service. It includes tangible elements like design, layout, and ambience, and it also called service escape. Next is the intangible elements, like the organization's values and emotional atmosphere. So overall, a good service setting helps a business stand out and create a positive customer experience. That's all in my part. The next reporter will be Miss Ramos.
So, mabuhay. Thank you, Ms. Gubelani. And I'm Marika Jonal A. Ramos. And this is my part. First, yung types of service settings. So, there are two aspects on how service settings are classified. First, service setting is differentiated based on service participants and the level of intricacy of service involved. So, sa madaling salita, yung service settings is iba siya depending kung sino yung nagpa-participate in the service and kung gaano kahirap yung service. So, the first classification is concerned with whom the service setting would affect. Based on this, the first type of organization is called self-service. So, ano ba yung self-service? From the word itself, customers na yung gumagawa ng most of the work for themselves and siguro may help ng staff pero minimal help lang. Examples niyan yung mga online shopping, online banking, airline self-booking, and food delivery apps. So, yung service na to, siguro must be easy to use and convenient kasi yung mga customers, sila na yung nag-manage ng everything internally. So, next is in between the two types are the organizations where both the customer and service employees are present, called interpersonal services. So, both customer and employees na they interact directly. So, parehas na involved. So, example dito is hotels, restaurants, spas, and resorts, and so forth. So, service settings is must considered dito sa interpersonal services na yung service settings must consider both yung comfort ng customer and ang welfare ng employees or yung kalagayan ng employees since they interact face-to-face. So we also have lean and elaborate. So next naman is redesigning service processes. So yung service processes kasi, pag sinabi pa lang redesigning is babaguhin yung design, papalitan. So yung service processes, just like any system, pwede silang maging outdated over time or malaos. So this happens because minsan yung customer kailangan nila ng pagbabago or ng needs change or evolving technology, new services appear or new policies are introduced. So pag nangyari to, companies need to redesign their service process para makasabay or to keep everything smooth and efficient. So ano ba yung mga signs na yung service process ay kailangan na ng redesigning? So yung ibang company, nagbigay sila ng several clues that their service system is no longer works well or hindi na gumagana maayos yung service process nila. Una dyan, the volume of exchanges in communication between customer and service units is heavy. Or in simple terms, too many back and forth communications. Kumbaga, hindi gumagalaw yung conversation between the two lang. So if the customers and service staff keep exchanging information repeatedly, meaning na yung current process is hindi na siya fit sa needs ng customer. So next naman is growing number of customer complaints about irrelevant and unnecessary procedures or more customer complaints. So pag yung tao is nag-complain about unnecessary confusing steps, yung process is likely too complicated or mahirap or nakakalito. So next is exceptions are increasing or increasing number of exceptions. So if the staff often have to make adjustments or special cases, syempre yung process hindi siya ganun na-match yung real customer situation. So yon. So next is proliferation of review and rechecking steps among new features or activities. In simple term, too many review and rechecking steps. So hindi umuusad. Ulit-ulit. So, meaning na yung workflow, nagiging slow siya and repetitive. Yun nga, paulit-ulit. So, nangyayari to due to sa mga bagong tasks na hindi naman originally part ng process. So, ano ba yung mga additional lang, ano ba yung mga ina-achieve ng pag-redesigning ng service process? Ano yung goal ng redesigning? Una is make the process faster. Second is reduce errors and service failures. Third, improve productivity. And fourth, increase customer satisfaction. So next naman, common ways ng mga companies to redesign their service process. So letter A is review the existing service design. So companies is tinitingnan nila kung ano yung meron na sila or what they already have. And chine-check nila yung mga weak points and tsaka sila mag-gather ng ideas from different people para makahanap ng better ways na ipapalit nila or doing things, something. And letter B, removal of unnecessary steps. So, minsan kasi yung mga steps na nasa process is hindi naman nakakapagdagdag ng value. So, we need to remove or simplify. Pag sabi simplify, simple lang, keep it simple para magawa din na yung service maging faster and easier para sa mga customers. Letter C, eliminating the bottlenecks. Bottlenecks, pag sabi bottlenecks, ito yung points na yung process where nagiging slow na siya or nai-stuck. Alam niyo, nai-stuck up, parang ganon. So, managers is titingin sila or hanap sila ng mga solutions to fix these slow points na nakapagpabagal sa process para maging smoother. So lastly is D, shifting to service design to self-service. So madaming organizations is gumagamit na ng mga self-service options like self-check-in, kiosk, or self-ordering screens, yung mga nakikita natin sa Jollibee, sa McDo. And para nakakatulong to reduce waiting time, save manpower, make service more efficient. Example dito yung mga airports, hotels, yung nga fast food chains. So that's all for topic 6, and thank you for listening.